I want you to stop whatever you're doing right now. Because what I'm about to tell you in the next few minutes, it's the kind of thing that I genuinely wish someone had told my own family years ago. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I'm saying it because last month, I sat across from a woman, a mother of two, 12 years in this country, green card in her wallet, and she was shaking. Not because she did something wrong, not because she broke a law. She was shaking because she sold her old couch on Facebook Marketplace for $500. And that one transaction, that one completely innocent sale, had triggered a federal review of her entire immigration file. She didn't know. And that's exactly why I made this video today. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you will know exactly how to protect yourself from a financial surveillance system that most immigrants have absolutely no idea even exists. Let me paint you a picture of how things work right now in 2026. You have a payment app on your phone. Almost everyone does. Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App. You use it the same way you use it to split dinner with a friend, pay your cousin back for groceries, or sell something you no longer need. It feels casual. It feels private. It feels like nobody's business but yours. That feeling, that comfortable, easy feeling, is the most dangerous thing about your situation right now. Because here's what changed. Quietly. Without any major news coverage. Without anyone sending you a letter or a warning. The IRS reporting threshold for payment apps just dropped to $600. $600. That is less than 1 month's phone bill for a family of 4. That is less than a plane ticket home. That is the kind of money that moves in and out of a normal immigrant household on a completely regular Tuesday. And now, every single time that number crosses that threshold, from Venmo, from Zelle, from PayPal, from any of them, a formal tax document called a 1099-K is generated and filed with the federal government. Automatically, without your permission, without your knowledge. Now, if you're a U.S. citizen, this is annoying. It creates paperwork. Maybe a small tax issue. But if you are here on an H-1B, an F-1, a green card, a work visa of any kind, this is not a tax issue. This is an immigration issue. And there is a massive difference between those two things. I'll explain exactly why in just a moment. But first, I need to tell you about Priya. Priya came to this country 11 years ago from Hyderabad. Engineering degree, full scholarship, one of those people who just made everything work no matter how hard it got. She waited out the H-1B lottery twice. She changed employers. She dealt with visa gaps, RFEs, lawyers who charged her thousands of dollars for paperwork that took 15 minutes. By the time she got her green card, she had tears in her eyes. She called her mother back home and said, we made it." That was 3 years before I met her. Now, Priya is a creative person. On weekends, she would design logos, birthday invitations, social media graphics for people in her community. Friends of friends. Nothing big. She never thought of it as a business. It was more like a hobby that people appreciated enough to pay for. Over the course of 1 year, she made about $1,400 doing this. People paid her on Venmo. She didn't charge tax. She didn't file anything separately. She didn't think she had to. After all, these were friends. When she went in for her green card renewal, she thought it would be routine. And it was, until the officer opened a folder. "Ms. Priya," the officer said, "we see you received $1,400 in payments through Venmo last year. Can you explain the nature of this income?" Her mouth went dry. She explained it was just graphic design work for friends. "Were you authorized to work outside your employment?" She said she didn't think of it as work. That interview lasted 3 more hours. Her renewal was flagged for administrative processing, which is a phrase that sounds professional and calm, but which, for an immigrant, feels like standing on a glass floor that might crack at any moment. She spent the next 8 months in legal limbo, spending over $9,000 on attorney fees, terrified every single day that she was going to receive a denial letter. She didn't get deported, but her life, her stability, her peace of mind, her savings were devastated. All because of $1,400 on Venmo that she never once thought twice about. When she told me that story, she said something I haven't been able to stop thinking about. She said, "Alex, I wasn't hiding anything. I just didn't know the rules had changed. Nobody told me." Nobody told her. And that is exactly what this channel exists to fix. So let me explain to you why this is happening, because it's not random. There is a very specific reason why 2026 feels different, why things that used to be fine suddenly aren't fine anymore. In the summer of 2025, a major piece of federal legislation passed that allocated well over $170 billion toward immigration enforcement infrastructure. Not just border security, infrastructure, data systems, vetting operations, technology. Part of what that funding created is an expanded interagency data sharing framework. What that means in plain English is this. Different government agencies that used to operate in separate silos, the IRS, DHS, USCIS, CBP, they are now sharing data with each other at a scale that has never existed before in American history. Your tax record can now trigger an immigration flag. Your PayPal history can now show up in your visa renewal file. The financial life you thought was private is now part of a unified government profile that follows you everywhere your immigration status goes. And the tool that is pulling all of this together, the thing that is actually catching people, is artificial intelligence. Specifically, pattern recognition algorithms that are scanning 1099-K filings and flagging anything that looks like unauthorized income for visa and green card holders. Here is the terrifying part about an AI system doing this work. It has absolutely no judgment. It cannot tell the difference between you selling your old MacBook and you running an illegal side business. To the algorithm, recurring payments of similar amounts equal employment income. A single large payment equals freelance work. It doesn't care about your story. It doesn't care about context. It flags, and then a human officer follows up. And that follow-up, that moment when a human officer looks at your file, that is the moment that can change your entire life. Now, I want to talk about something that most immigration content creators don't touch, because it makes people uncomfortable. I want to talk about what is happening at airports right now. I want you to imagine something for me. You've been to visit your family. Maybe you went to see your parents in the Philippines, or your sisters in Pakistan, or your grandparents in Nigeria. You've been gone for 3 weeks. You're exhausted. You're happy. Your carry-on is full of home-cooked food your mom packed for you. You're in line at customs. You reach the officer. You hand over your passport and your green card. And then the officer doesn't stamp it and wave you through. Instead, they look at a screen, and they say, "Can you come with me, please?" That secondary inspection room, I want you to understand what that room represents. Once you are in that room, the rules change. The dynamic changes. The pressure changes. And right now, one of the things that CBP officers have increasingly been doing in that room is asking to look at your phone, your apps, your payment history. Under updated border search policies, CBP officers have significant authority to examine devices at the port of entry. And what they are looking at, among other things, is payment app history. They are looking for patterns that suggest unauthorized work. They are looking for income that doesn't match your visa category. They are looking for the exact kind of thing that $170 billion of new enforcement infrastructure was built to find. I am not telling you this to frighten you into paralysis. I am telling you this because knowledge is the only protection that doesn't cost you a lawyer's hourly rate. So let me give you that knowledge right now. The first thing I want you to understand is the difference between personal payments and goods and services payments on these apps. When someone sends you money on Venmo or PayPal, they are given a choice. They can mark it as a personal payment between friends, or they can mark it as payment for goods and services. That distinction matters enormously. The goods and services tag is what triggers the business income categorization that feeds into your 1099-K. If a friend pays you back for a shared dinner or splits a utility bill with you, that should always go through as a personal payment. If they accidentally tag it as goods and services, that money is now on a federal income record. Talk to the people in your life who send you money. Most of them have no idea this distinction exists. Make sure they know. The second thing, and this one is critical for anyone who sells personal items ever, is documentation. Every time you sell something, keep a record. Take a photo of the item. Keep the conversation where the buyer agreed to the price. If the amount is significant, write up a simple bill of sale. There are free templates online, and it takes 5 minutes. This documentation is not about paranoia. It is about having a story to tell that matches the money. in case you are ever asked to explain it. Because here is the truth about immigration enforcement. It is not designed to give you the benefit of the doubt. It is designed to ask questions and see if you have answers. The people who survive these encounters are the people who can explain themselves quickly, clearly, and with paper in their hand. The third thing I want you to do is go through your payment apps right now. Before your next USCIS appointment, before your next international trip. Go through your last 2 years of transaction history and look at it the way a suspicious government officer would look at it. Are there patterns that could be misread? Are there payments from multiple different people that look like a client list? Are there recurring amounts that could look like a salary? If you see something that concerns you, talk to an immigration attorney before the government sees it. Not after, before. And the fourth thing, the one that costs nothing but could matter the most, is this. If you are ever in a situation where a government officer is questioning you about specific payments, and it feels like they are building a case rather than just asking routine questions, you have a right to stop. You can say, "I would like to speak with an attorney before I answer any further questions." Say it calmly, say it politely, and then do not say another word until you have that attorney. I know that feels scary. I know it feels like it will make you look guilty, but I promise you, from everything I have seen and everything I have studied in this space, the people who talk their way into trouble far outnumber the people who stay quiet and protected themselves. I want to take a step back for a moment from all the technical details, the 1099-Ks and the CBP directives and the data sharing frameworks, and just talk to you as one person to another. You came to this country with something. Maybe it was a degree or a skill or just an enormous amount of courage and a belief that if you worked hard enough, everything would be okay. You have built a life here. You have relationships here. You have dreams here that are specifically American. Not because America is perfect, but because you chose it, and you invested in it, and it became yours. That investment is worth protecting. And the painful reality of 2026 is that the system surrounding immigration has become significantly more aggressive, significantly more data-driven, and significantly less forgiving of innocent mistakes. A rule that didn't exist 3 years ago can now cost you everything you've built. That is not fair. I want to be honest with you. I don't think it is fair. But fair and real are two different things. And my job on this channel is to deal with what is real. What is real is that thousands of people just like Priya, people who followed the rules, who never intended to do anything wrong, who just didn't know that the rules had quietly changed, are right now sitting in offices and airports and USCIS waiting rooms, terrified, wondering how a Venmo payment became the thing that threatened their entire American life. You don't have to be one of them. That's why you're here. That's why this channel exists. Before I let you go today, I want to ask you something. Is there someone in your life, a cousin, a coworker, a friend from your community, who uses Venmo or PayPal and has no idea that any of this is happening? Someone who is sitting right now, completely unaware, feeling that same comfortable, easy feeling I described at the beginning of this video? Send them this video. Don't just share it, send it directly. Send it to your WhatsApp group. Send it to the group chat with your family back home who are thinking about coming here. Send it to the friend who just started freelancing on the side. Because the thing that protects us, the thing that has always protected immigrant communities, is not a lawyer or a government program. It is information shared between people who care about each other. If this video gave you something real today, please subscribe to Lawful Immigrant Shield. Hit the notification bell, because the policies I'm covering on this channel are changing fast, sometimes week to week, and I don't want you to miss something that could matter for your case. And leave me a comment below. Tell me, did you know about the $600 threshold before today? Have you had a payment app situation that concerned you? Or is there a specific immigration question you want me to cover next? I read every comment, every single one. I'll be back very soon with something you genuinely need to see before your next trip outside the United States. It's about what CBP is specifically looking for when they review your phone, and it is not what most people think. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and I'll see you in the next one.